welcome to today's video lecture. In today's video lecture, I'll be solving previous year's NEET questions and discussing the answers. And it's for the chapter Animal Kingdom, and we are in part 2 of the series. If you haven't checked out part 1, please do so. The link will be there in the description box below. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so question number 1. In case of poriferans, the spongocele is lined with flagellated cells called, this appeared in NEET 2017. So you have A. oscula, B. choanocytes, C. mesenchymal cells, and D. ostia. Okay, so the spongocele is lined with flagellated cells called choanocytes. Okay, so the option is B. The correct option is B. Let's go to the discussion. Alright, so here you see a structure of what the porifera looks like. I'm sorry, not hydra, but sponges look like. Okay, so you have like a cross section of the structure, and this is the spongocele cavity. And here you see the structure over here. These are the choanocytes, okay, the flagellated cells. They are also known as collar cells. So porifera have a spongocele, also known as a central cavity, which is the central cavity of the structure, and choanocytes or collar cell lines this cavity, and they are flagellated cells. Okay, so here you have like a closed structure of what a choanocyte looks like, and you can see the flagellum over here. Okay, yeah, so this pretty much answers our question. The spongocele is lined with flagellated cells. Okay, so the option is B. Alright, let's move on. Question number 2. Choose the correct statement, and this appeared in NEET 2016. A. All mammals are viviparous. B. All cyclostomes do not possess jaw and paired fins. C. All reptiles have a 3-chambered heart. D. All Pisces have gills covered by an operculum. So to choose the correct statement, okay? All mammals are viviparous. No, that's incorrect. All cyclostomes do not possess jaws and paired fins. Okay, that is correct. All reptiles have a 3-chambered heart. No, not all reptiles. All Pisces have gills covered by an operculum. No, that's also incorrect. So the correct answer is B. Okay, let's go to the discussion. So all mammals are not viviparous. There's an exception being the duck-billed platypus, which is oviparous. Okay, so platypus is a mammal. It's classified as a mammal, but it is oviparous. It is not viviparous. That means it lays eggs. Okay, it lays eggs, not viviparous where we give birth. Okay, so yep, that is an exception. Now crocodiles, one second, let me just erase this. Crocodiles have a 4-chambered heart. Okay, crocodiles have a 4-chambered heart. Unlike all reptiles which have a 3-chambered heart, crocodiles have a 4-chambered heart. Now chondriichthys do not have gills covered by operculum. That means they are cartilaginous fishes, right? So they do not have gills covered by a operculum. If we go back to the question, obviously B is the correct statement, so I haven't really written about that. But A, C and D are the incorrect statements, so I've given the correct statement why they are incorrect. Alright. Alright, let's move on. Question number 3. Which one of the following characteristics is not shared by birds and mammals? This appeared in NEET 2016. A. Viviparity. B. Warm-blooded nature. C. Ossified endoskeleton. D. Breathing using lungs. Okay, so which is not shared by birds and mammals? So A. Viviparity. Viviparity is a characteristic that is not shared between birds and mammals. A warm-blooded nature is shared. So ossified endoskeleton is also shared. Breathing using lungs is also shared. So the answer is A. Let's go to the discussion. So birds are oviparous, okay? Birds are oviparous, and again, like I said, they lay eggs. Well, all mammals are viviparous with the exception of platypus. Okay, so mammals possess this characteristics of being viviparous, whereas birds are exclusively oviparous. They don't share that with mammals, except for the platypus. But if you look at the other options, B, C, and D, they don't match. So A is the appropriate answer for this. Back to the question. Yeah. The rest B, C, and D are shared between birds and mammals, but viviparity is something which is seen in mammals. Okay, let's go to question number 4. Which of the following characteristic features always holds true for the corresponding group of animals? This appeared in NEET 2016. A. Possess a mouth with an upper and lower jaw. That's core data. B. Three-chambered heart with one incompletely divided ventricle, reptilia. C. Cartilaginous endoskeleton, chondriichthys. And D. Viviparous mammalia. Okay, so we have to choose one of the options that holds true for the corresponding group of mammals. Okay, so possess a mouth with an upper and lower jaw. Not necessary, because not all chordata have an upper and lower jaw. There are mammals, chordates without a jaw also. So three-chambered heart with one incompletely divided ventricle. Yeah. So reptilia, no, that's also incorrect, because crocodiles have a four-chambered heart. C. Cartilaginous endoskeleton, chondriichthys. That is correct. Viviparous mammalia. Not like I said, viviparous. Not all mammalia are viviparous, because the class also contains platypus, which is an oviparous mammal. So that does not hold true. So the question says that always holds true. Okay, so C. Yeah. So the correct option is C. So tunicates, cephalochordatas, dates, and cyclostomes are chordates that do not possess jaws. Okay, they don't have jaws. Like I said, crocodiles are reptiles that have a four-chambered heart, and platypus is a mammal that is oviparous. Okay, so that options given over there, that is A, B, and D, don't always hold true. That's why they were incorrect. So C is the right answer. Okay, let's move on. Question number 5. Which of the following features is not present in the phylum Arthropoda? Okay, this appeared in NEET 2016. Okay, is not present. A. Parapodia. B. Jointed appendages. C. Chitinous exoskeleton. And D. Metameric segmentation. Okay, so is not present. Parapodia actually is not present in Arthropoda. It is seen in annelids. So A is the right answer. B, C, and D are seen in Arthropoda. So you have to find the feature that's not present. So the answer is A. So parapodia is an appendage. Okay, it helps in swimming. So it's found in aquatic annelids. Okay, it helps in swimming. So they're like flaps. Okay, they are like jointed appendages, like flap-like structure that you see. And so they help in swimming, especially in aquatic annelids. They're not seen in Arthropoda though. All right, so that was the correct answer for that. One trick in understanding animal kingdom is to read it over and over again. Okay, and once you keep reading the chapter over and over again, I understand an animal kingdom is very big, and there are so many phylums to remember and the characteristics. One way is to write it down if that is easier for you. The other way is to read NCRT and keep reading it over and over again, because once you keep reading it again and again, it becomes smaller. And try to find the logic. Okay, you see that we are evolving, right from porifera where it started, we are evolving till the phylum chordata. So look at it from that point of view. That is another way. So you see the features in every phylum are evolving with every classification that you move ahead. Okay, so that is one way to understand this chapter, animal kingdom, and to remember it, because you need to remember it for your exam. So yeah, I would suggest you keep reading it over and over again and try to find logics when you move from one phylum to the next phylum. Okay, when you read one phylum, you note down all the characteristics, go to the next phylum and see how they have evolved into the next phylum. Okay, so yeah, these are two ways that I would suggest would help you learn the chapter of animal kingdom. Okay, so I guess we can move on because I've answered this question. Question number 6. Body having meshwork of cells, internal cavities lined with food filtering flagellated cells and indirect development are the characteristics of phylum. This is in 2015. So they've given you lots of clues here. Body having meshwork of cells, internal cavities lined with food filtering flagellated cells and indirect development. So that's A. mollusk, B. protozoa, C. coelenterata, and D. porifera. So the giveaway over here is like a meshwork of cells and internal cavities, with flagellated cells. It's definitely porifera. And of course, they have indirect development. So the answer is D. Yep. So it fits all the characteristics. Network of cells, spongocele. Okay, they're called choanocytes, and the development is indirect. Indirect development is when the life cycle has various stages. Okay, they have a larva, pupa, so on, depending on which animal you're talking about. Okay, and then comes the adult. The whole life cycle then follows over and over again. There'll be eggs first, and then the larva and the pupa and then the adult. So they're going through different stages in the development. Okay, it's not necessary that it'll have always 4 stages. It could vary from animal to animal, but I'm just giving you an example of what indirect development means. Okay, so this is indirect development. The humans and all don't have indirect development, they're direct development. They directly form that final structure that will be there. Okay, so let's move on then. Question number 7. Metagenesis refers to, and this appeared in 2015, A. Occurrence of a drastic change in form during post-embryonic development. No. Presence of a segmented body and parthenogenetic mode of reproduction. No. C. Presence of different morphic forms. No. Alternation of generation between asexual and sexual phases of an organism. That is correct. So the answer here is D. Okay, so this is basically the definition of metagenesis. Just learn it this way. It's the alternation of generation between sexual and asexual reproduction, and a very popular example is obelia. Okay, it's a coelenterate obelia. I don't know if you can see this structure here, this life cycle of obelia. Okay, so this is a very good example to show metagenesis. Okay, so generations, there are different morphic forms in obelia. Okay, so you have the sessile form, which is the hydrilla, and then you have the moving form, okay, which is the medusa. Okay, the medusa, free swimming, that's what they call it, free swimming. When you see the word sessile, means it stays in one place. See, free swimming, that means it's mobile, it can move around. All right, so there are two forms that we see in obelia. Okay, and medusa reproduces, as in it's formed asexually, but it will give rise to hydrilla sexually. That means they have sperms and eggs. Okay, they have sperms and eggs that you can see here, forming a zygote and finally forming this hydrilla. Okay, which is the sessile form. Now this hydrilla undergoes asexual development to form medusa. So there is an alternation of generation. There's one form which is formed using, by asexual reproduction, is another form by sexual reproduction. So medusa gives rise to hydrilla by sexual reproduction. Okay, that means there's sperms and eggs involved. But the hydrilla is sessile. Just remember it this way: a medusa can move around, so it can reproduce the hydrilla sexually. But sessile, that's hydrilla which is sessile, it only reproduces asexually. It cannot move around. Think of it as this way. Okay, it's a very logical way to look at it, because medusa is something that's free swimming. Okay, so it can reproduce sexually. There's a male, there's a female parts to it, and then they can sexually reproduce the hydrilla. But hydrilla is sessile, it stays in one place the whole time, and it will slowly grow into the medusa. Okay, All right, so yep, this is it. So very popular example is Obelia. Okay, I guess I've answered the question though. We've answered the question, but they haven't really asked, which form produces asexually or sexually. So we don't need to worry about that. I've just given you some extra information regarding Obelia to understand metagenesis. Right. Question number 8. A jawless fish which lays eggs in fresh water and whose amocytes larvae after metamorphosis return to the ocean is disappeared in 2015. So, jawless fish, okay, which lays eggs in fresh water. A. Neomycin, B. Petromycin, C. Eptatretis, and D. Mycin. Okay, so the answer here is petromycin. Okay, the answer here is petromycin, also known as lamprey. Lamprey is the common word. It's actually called petromycin, and the answer here is B. Let's go to the discussion. Yeah, so this diagram is from NCRT. Okay, so it's a jawless animal and they do not have paired fins. Okay, so it's a cyclostome, all right, that lays eggs in fresh water and the amocyte larvae return to the ocean. So starts from the fresh water and once the larvae is formed, they return to the ocean. That's marine water. Okay. Okay, they start from fresh water and they return to the marine water. Now to lay eggs only they go to the fresh water part. Okay, once that part is done, then the larvae is formed and they go to the marine water. That's all. So they exist in both places. Okay. Answer this question. Yep. Yes, we can move on. Question number 9. Which of the following endoparasites of humans does show viviparity? So in 2015, cancelled. Right. Okay, it shows viviparity. A. Trichinella spiralis. B. Ascaris lumbricoides. C. Encyclostoma duodenale. D. Enterobius vermicularis. Okay, they're very complicated words. Which of the following endoparasites of humans show viviparity? Now, all of them A, B, C, and D are endoparasites, but A. Trichinella spiralis shows viviparity. Okay, so the answer is A. They do not lay eggs. This is an endoparasite that shows viviparity. So it's a nematode. Okay, it's a roundworm that causes trichinosis or trichinosis. Now I've briefly explained trichinella in human health and diseases, so I'm not going to too much detail here because this is out of the scope of this chapter. But if you watch my video on human health and disease, you'll find that I've explained some of the life cycles. Okay, and it's caused by consuming undercooked or raw pork. This as such is information is not there in NCRT in the animal kingdom, but I would suggest you remember it like a fact so that if they ever asked, you know the answer. Okay. So yeah, I've answered the question. So they give birth. Okay, they don't lay eggs like like B, C, and D. They have a life cycle where they lay eggs and the eggs grow and so on. They develop, but this trachinella is an exception, shows viviparity. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Which of the following represents the correct combination without any exception? Okay. A. Sucking and circular mouth, jaws absent, integument without scales, paired appendages. Cyclostoma. Cyclostoma do not have paired appendages, so that's incorrect. Body covered with feathers, skin moist and glandular, forelimbs form wings, lungs with air sacs. Now the skin is not moist though, except for the tail end, which has oil glands. So Avis is incorrect. Mammary gland, hair on body, pinnae, two pairs of limbs. Mammalia. Now, not all mammals have pinnae. Okay, like if you look at platypus, if you look at the order monotrim, you know, whether it's the anteater or the platypus, they fall all under the order of monotrim. So not all mammals have pinnae. Okay, they come under the class of Mammalia, but they don't have pinnae. So that's an exception. So C is incorrect. Mouth ventral, gills without operculum, skin with placoid scales, persistent notochord, chondriectus. That is correct. There is no exception in this as far as we know. So the answer is D. Okay, they have a ventral mouth, gills without operculum, skin with, so it should be with placoid scales. Sorry about that, and persistent notochord. Okay, so yeah. Yep, chondriectus is the right answer there. All right, let's move on then. Okay, so question number 11. Which of the following animals is not viviparous? So we are in 2015 cancelled. A. Platypus, B. Whale, C. Flying fox, and D. Elephant. So which of the following animals is not viviparous? A. Platypus. That's oviparous. So the answer is A. I've already discussed this though. Okay, it's not viviparous, it's an oviparous mammal. Alright. Question number 12. Which of the following characteristics is mainly responsible for diversification of insects on land? In 2015, cancelled. A. Exoskeleton, B. Eyes, C. Segmentation, and D. Bilateral symmetry. Okay, so diversification of insects on land. Clearly, A. Exoskeleton. Eyes, segmentation, bilateral symmetry aren't really responsible, but exoskeleton of the insects have played a very important role. Answer is A. Okay, so of course the exoskeleton, they have chitinous exoskeleton, which is really hard. Okay, and they have evolved into such beings that they are able to withstand changes in temperature in the environment and adapt to the changes, which is very very important for evolving. If an animal is evolving, it has to adapt to the changes in the environment, otherwise it will perish, it will not survive in that environment, so the environment is continuously changing. So in the case of this question, in the case of insects, yes, their exoskeleton has played a very important role in its diversification. Okay, so it's a good question. And clearly the other options did not fit. B, C, and D, the size, segmentation, bilateral symmetry, did not fit. They don't help in that. But exoskeleton, yes, that's unique. Right, let's move on. Question number 13. Select the taxon mentioned that represents both marine and freshwater species. So, in 2014, A. Echinoderms, B. Ctenophora, C. Cephalochordata, and D. Cnidaria. Alright, so taxon mentions that represent both marine and freshwater species. Echinoderm is exclusively marine. Ctenophora is also marine. Cephalochordata is also marine. It's Cnidaria, which has both freshwater and marine species. Hydra species is freshwater, jellyfish, corals are marine. Okay. All right. So clear. So direct. Let's move on. Question number 14. Planaria possesses high capacity of, this appeared in 2014, A. Metamorphosis, B. Regeneration, C. Alternation of generation, and D. Bioluminescence. Okay, so planaria possess high capacity of regeneration. They're very unique animals. Answer is B. Okay, so they are platyhelminths, these are flatworms. Okay, and they have the ability to regenerate. So whether it's the head or tail or size or an entire body can form another body. Okay, form an entire organism from that small fragment within days to weeks. So they have a very unique and powerful ability to regenerate. Okay, from their from any small fragment of their body. Okay, so this was again a fact, but yeah, I don't think it's mentioned in NCRT. So please remember this fact. Okay. All right, let's move on. Question number 15. A marine cartilaginous fish that can produce electric current is, this appeared in 2014. A. Pristis, B. Torpedo, C. Trigon, and D. Scoliodon. Okay, so marine cartilaginous fish that can produce electric current is B. Torpedo. Trigon is stingray, it's electric ray. Alright, so torpedo is an electric ray, that produces electricity, and obviously that is to either attack or to defend themselves. Okay, alright, let's move on. Question number 16. Which of the following are correctly matched with respect to their taxonomic classification? This appeared in 2013. Alright, so you have a group of animals here, and you have to identify whether it's correct or not. Their class or phylum. A. Housefly, butterfly, CC fly, silverfish, insecta. Okay, yeah, that fits in. B. Spiny anteater, sea urchin, sea cucumber. No, definitely no. It's not echinodermata. C. Flying fish, cuttlefish, silverfish. No, silverfish is an insect actually, so it doesn't fall in the Pisces class. D. Centipede, millipede, spider, scorpion. No, it does not fall under the class insecta. Okay, so that's incorrect. Answer is A. Okay, so housefly, butterfly, CC fly, and silverfish belong to the class insecta. All right. Oh, sorry. Next question. That is, it falls under the phylum Arthropoda, but it's not. These are not insects. Okay, it's arachnida. Okay, they are not insects. So that is incorrect. A is the correct option. Okay, let's move on. The spider and scorpion are arachnida class. All right. I think millipede are diplopoda. Okay, so they are all mismatched. They don't fall under the class of insecta. But option A, yeah, silverfish is not a fish. Please remember that. Okay, it's very easy to get confused because it doesn't say fly or anything like that. So silverfish is actually an insect. It's not a fish. Okay, the housefly, butterfly, and CC fly. Yeah, they're all insects. Okay. Question number 17. Which group of animals belong to the same phylum? So we are in NEET 2013. Sorry. Just disappeared there. NEET 2013. Which group of animals belong to the same phylum? A. Prawn, scorpion, locust. B. Sponge, anemone, starfish. No. Malarial, parasite, amoeba, mosquito. No. Earthworm, pinworm, tapeworm. No. No. So, yeah, it's clearly A. Answer is A. Yeah. So, they belong to the phylum Arthropoda. Okay. Clear? I would suggest you remember all the names that are there in NCRT because then they can, ask you questions like that. They'll give the biological name, the scientific name, and maybe not the common names. So, you need to remember the scientific names too. Okay. Next, question number 18. Match the name of the animal, column 1, with characteristic, column 2, and the phylum or class, column 3, to which it belongs. Right. So, it's NEET 2013. Limulus, body covered by chitinous exoskeleton. Pisces, no, that's incorrect. Adamsia, radially symmetrical. Porifera, no. Petromyzon, ectoparasite. Cyclostomata, yes. Ichthyophis, terrestrial reptilia, no, it's an amphibian. So the answer is C. Yeah. Now look, the correct match is Petromyzon, which you already discussed, right? It's lamprey. So an ectoparasite belongs to the class Cyclostomata. All right. Clear. Let's move on. Question number 19. One of the representatives of phylum Arthropoda is, appear NEET 2013, pufferfish, flying fish, cuttlefish, and silverfish. Again, I've just discussed that. A, B, and C are actually fishes, but they belong to the class Pisces. But this is an insect. Okay, so the answer is D. All right, belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. All right, let's move on. Question 20. The characteristics of class Reptilia are, okay, this appeared in Karnataka NEET 2013. A, body covered with moist skin which is devoid of scales. No, they don't have that. Freshwater animals with bony endoskeleton, air bladder to regulate buoyancy. No. Marine animals with cartilaginous endoskeleton. No. Body covered with dry and conified skin, scales over the body are epidermal. They do not have external ears. Yes, that's correct. So the correct option is D. Okay, these are the characteristics of reptilia. So they have dry conified skin, the epidermis has scales or scutes, and they do not have external ears. Tympanum represents the ear. Okay, so these are the characteristics of reptilia. Alright, clear? This was pretty direct. So, question number 21. Which one of the following groups of animals reproduces only by sexual means? Alright, this appeared in Karnataka NEET 2013. So we have A, Nidaria, B, Porifera, C, Protozoa, and D, Ctenophora. Nidaria, Porifera, and Protozoa have sexual and asexual means of reproduction. It's Ctenophora. Okay, so the answer is D. Okay, the reproduction of Ctenophora is by sexual means. The rest of the options have both. They have sexual and asexual means of reproduction. Okay, let's move on. Question number 22. Which one of the following animals is correctly matched with its one characteristics and the taxon? This appeared in Karnataka NEET 2013. So you have A, millipede, ventral nerve cord, arachnida. Okay. B, C, anemone, cnidaria, yes. Triploblastic, no. Silverfish, pectoral pelvic fins, no, that's incorrect. Duckbill platypus, oviparous, mammalia. Yes, that's correct actually. I think millipede, the taxon is not arachnida, so that's why this is incorrect. Okay, so the correct answer is D. Okay, so here you have a picture of what a platypus looks like, a duckbill platypus, and yeah, this is taken from NCRT, so they have like some nice pictures there, so you can relate to which animal that we're talking about. Otherwise, you have obviously access to Google, and you can always check out the photos of the animals that we're talking about and understand it better and remember it. Will help you probably remember it better. But yeah, so yeah, this is it. This answers our question. Okay, let's move on. All right, so we've come to the end of this video lecture, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video lecture, and I hope you learned something new today. And please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to MJ NEET Biology. And I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can follow me there for more updates. And I'll see you in the next video lecture. Right, so bye.